Welcome to the Witchy Work Wishes podcast, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. Welcome to Witchy Work Wishes, and thank you so much for joining me today on a very, very important topic, being a protected witch. Now, this topic called to me, maybe it was shown to me, rather probably thrown in my face, but either way it needed to happen. So today's episode is all about focusing on being a protected witch and looking into three main areas that we can focus on to do this, which is going to be physical protection, emotional protection, and spiritual protection. But first, a little glimpse of what my past weekend looked like in my own personal practice, which was, highly motivated in kitchen witchcraft. So it was actually last week that I did it. I made plum jam and I made peach jam with some of our amazing local harvested fruits. And just a couple of days ago, I found myself motivated in another area, which was to work with some of the waters that I got while I was up in the mountains. Now, the moon phase is important to me when doing my tinctures and my potions, and right now we are in a waning phase. So I was able to use some of the rushing water with some very specific energy work in one of my tinctures. And I just love how it turned out. But for some reason, on my down time, I just really wanted to curl up with a new book that I got and, just be with my animals and be with the sounds of the breeze in my backyard trees, feel the wind on my skin and have my feet touch the ground, my bare feet touch the ground. So it felt good, and it was just what I needed in my downtime. But I am actually, that's kind of a quick recap, but I'm actually going to zip right into today's recording. It does go long again. And honestly, I feel like I keep saying that, or recently I've been saying that a bunch. And we are on episode number 98 today, which means I am planning out my 100th episode that is coming up in 2 weeks. I'm so excited, but I do think it's a good time for me to look at the past 100 episodes and kind of figure out what has worked, what has not worked, what are the top episodes with you and my listeners, and then get a good game plan for moving forward. Since I feel like I've rarely hit the original goal of a 30-minute podcast, I think that one is going to be the first one to go, but I really would like to hear from you so I can take into consideration your needs, your thoughts, and what you would like to hear about. This will help me design the next 12 months of episodes, so please reach out. You can send me a note on Instagram, just search for Witchy Work Wishes. If email is more your thing, that works too. It's info@witchyworkwishes.com. And even if you're just on the website, you can send a note there too. Again, it's witchyworkwishes.com. But please do reach out. I really do want to hear from you so I can take your thoughts into consideration in designing, the next year of episodes. Okay, let's jump into it. Let's work on our protection skills today and head over into the episode, The Protected Witch. In order to really dive into today's topic of being a protected witch, I will be taking a personal and introspective approach to it. I am hoping to combine practical advice with the emotional and spiritual journey of self-protection. Now, this is coming directly from the messages I believe I was getting in some sort of way through the dream I had of a glove, then physically seeing the exact glove I was dreaming about 2 days later in my front courtyard floating around in the breeze, to then having a hand imprint keepsake fall right in front of me. So, okay, I took the time to get my thoughts together on protective magic and what I was and was not doing for my own protection. While I did not originally have this topic slated for an August episode, I went with the flow of messages and arranged the schedule accordingly. So this is real time, my friends. I record only a week ahead of time, and that is because I like to be as current as possible with you, with what is actually going on right now. And I think it was meant to be. I was meant to reassess my own layers of protection, or again, lack of, and maybe you are too. So we are coming into fall season, which for many of us wakes up our practices, puts a little pep back in our step and invites us to become a little more active in our own witchcraft practices. For me, at least. It does for me. So, with fall officially on the near horizon, it is actually a good time for all of us to visit the concept of being a protected witch. Now, if you enjoy the content I share on this podcast and want to help me continue bringing you valuable insights, I invite you to show your support. Whether it's by subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing this episode or podcast in general with your friends, every little bit helps me grow and reach more listeners like you. Your support fuels my passion, and together, I think we can create an even stronger community. So if you believe in what I am doing, please take a moment to engage. Your voice matters, and I am grateful to have you with me on this journey. And my thoughts for today are, to do kind of an overall reach for each of us on how important it is to be protected. And then pull what I believe to be are kind of the 3 areas we can focus on to do it. That is going to be physical, emotional, and spiritual. For the physical, I'm going to be, looking at natural elements and tools, our crystals or herbs. I'm going to be talking about setting boundaries in our physical world, and then pulling some practical tips for everyday protection. On the emotional stage, I'm going to kind of dive into managing our energy and emotions, dealing with negative influences and toxic people, and then pull some rituals and practices we can do to maintain our own emotional balance. And then lastly, I will definitely talk about our spiritual protection, which is big for everybody, but certainly really important for us in the practices that we do. This is going to be some shielding techniques and spells, calling upon our spiritual guides or deities, and then maintaining a strong connection to nature and the divine. Now, I would love to start off by saying, as a witch, protection is not just an occasional concern, it's a fundamental part of my everyday life. But I can't. I don't do it as often as I should. I don't do it before every spell. Sometimes I do, right? But not every time. And it should be, right? It should be whether I am casting spells, communing with nature, or simply navigating our mundane world. I know better. We know that we must always be vigilant. Now, my journey has taught me that protection comes in many forms: physical, emotional, and spiritual, which are the 3 that I pulled for today. So safeguarding ourselves in these 3 areas is going to require both practical tools and a deep connection to our inner power. All right, physical protection is a great place to start. It is the foundation upon which all other forms of protection are built. The tools we use, the space we inhabit, and the boundaries we set are all going to contribute to our safety as a witch. So crystals, a great example. These are powerful little allies in our protection rituals, right? We can carry black tourmaline with us, wherever we go, especially if it's a nice little small piece. Knowing that its grounding energy can shield us from negativity. Now, in my personal home, I have lots of good energy using stones and crystals, and surround myself with protective stones like amethyst and clear quartz. But I have different stones scattered in different, honestly, almost every room of the house. But the crystals and stones can serve as both a physical and energetic barrier, keeping most unwanted influences at bay. So I pulled 9 that I think are going to be kind of like our top crystals and stones for protection. But if you have one that you use, it works for you, love it. That's your stone. First one, I just mentioned it, but black tourmaline. This is known for its strong protective properties. It is often used to ward off negative energy and psychic attacks. I believe it also helps ground and purify energy. Amethyst is a good one. This is widely used for spiritual protection and purification. It is believed to create a shield of spiritual light around the body and, ward off negative energies. Obsidian is another great stone to work with. This is known for its ability to absorb and transmute negative energy. It is also used for grounding and protection from psychic attacks. Smoky quartz is a good one. This stone is known for its ability to protect and ground, especially against negative energies. It is believed also to transform dense energy into a lighter, like softer vibration. Labradorite is considered a powerful protection stone that deflects unwanted energies and strengthens our own natural energy shield. Hematite is another good one. This one's often used for grounding and protection. It is believed to create a protective shield around the body, deflecting negativity and harmful energies. Selenite is a good one. This is really known and used for its high vibration and its ability to clear and protect the aura. So it's often used to cleanse other stones, I believe, but it can be used to protect against negative influences. Fluorite is a wonderful one. This is used to protect against negative energies, particularly from electromagnetic pollution. So it is known to cleanse and stabilize the aura. Shungite, if I said that one correctly, this one's highly regarded for protective properties. Again, with that electromagnetic pollution, with those frequencies. EMF. Shungite is used to detoxify and purify the body and energy field. Okay, so in addition to our stones and crystals, herbs are going to be another great way and essential part of our physical protection. You guys know I like my fire magic, and burning herbs in my fire pit is a pretty common exercise for me. I burn my garden sage. I love grabbing and burning fresh rosemary to cleanse my space. It just removes any lingering negative energy. And when we feel particularly vulnerable, we can create protective sachets filled with herbs like lavender and bay leaves and the muggy mug or mugwort, and tuck them into our clothing or place them under our pillows, somewhere to help keep us safe and protected. But these small little things, they serve a purpose, right? They are acts of protection and are powerful reminders that we are in control of our space and our energy. Okay, so for the herbs, probably number one, right? No doubt it's going to be sage. So just be mindful what sage you are working with. But in general, sage is going to be the most widely used herb for protection. It is commonly burned in rituals like smudging to cleanse spaces of negative energy and to create a protective barrier. I'd say for our top ones, rosemary is probably going to be next. Rosemary is really versatile. It's a great herb known for its strong protective properties. It's often used in spells to ward off negative influences, certainly to protect the home, but to safeguard against harmful intentions. Now, I personally have rosemary in pots right at my front door. I absolutely love it. And again, I burn it often in my fire pit. Let's see, basil is probably in that top three group. Basil is believed to offer protection against evil and negative energies. It's commonly used in protection spells, I think particularly for safeguarding the home, but definitely attracting positive energy. Lavender's up there too. Lavender is known for its calming and protective properties. It's often going to be used in protection spells to shield against negative energies, but also to promote peace and protect the home. Bay leaves, we love our bay leaves. We just had bay leaves in the full moon cocktails. But they are traditionally used for protection and purification. So writing intentions or protective symbols on bay leaves and then burning them is a common practice in protection rituals. Muggy mug, or mugwort. Mugwort is often used in protective magic, particularly in guarding against psychic attacks and negative energies. Sorry. Negative energies. Okay, I'm just gonna let that one roll. It's also used in dream protection and to enhance spiritual awareness. Thyme. Is anybody having trouble growing their thyme? I'm struggling this season. But thyme is a good one. This is associated with protection and courage. So it's often used in spells to protect against negativity and to create a protective shield around the person or space. Cinnamon has to be in our top 10. Love working with cinnamon. Cinnamon really is believed to offer protection, and it's also used to amplify the power of other herbs and spells. We know coffee can increase the speed of things, but cinnamon gives it that power, that extra punch. So it's often going to be used in protection rituals to create that, warm, protective barrier. Garlic's a big one. Garlic has a long history of being used for protection, particularly against evil spirits and negative energy. It's whether you hang it in your home, carry it with you, hang it as a charm, whatever it is. I think garlic in protection is fairly common. Okay, Angelica is the last one that I pulled because this one really is a powerful protective herb, especially if we are wanting to ward off negative energies and protect against harmful spirits. So Angelica is often used in rituals and charms for protection for this. Now, setting boundaries, it's so difficult sometimes, but setting boundaries in the physical world is equally important. We need to, if we've not already, learn how to say no, right? Say no when necessary, just to guard our own personal space and to be mindful of who we allow in our life. Whether it is a physical boundary, such as like physically locking your door, right? Or an energetic one, such as shielding our aura. It is important to recognize that our well-being depends on our ability to protect ourselves from harm. All right, so emotional protection. What about guarding our inner world? Physical protection is crucial, but emotional protection is equally important in our practice as witches. Emotions are powerful forces capable of influencing both our magical work and our daily life. Therefore, we must be diligent in protecting our emotional well-being. So I think one of the most important lessons we have, or I think that we have learned, is the importance of managing our own energy and emotions, right? As witches, we are naturally sensitive to the energies around us, and it can be all too easy to absorb the negativity of others. Now, to protect ourselves, we practice grounding exercises, such as walking barefoot on the earth or visualizing those roots that I keep talking about extending from our feet into the ground. These practices help. They help us release any negative energy we may have absorbed and then keep us centered in our own power. So dealing with negative influences and toxic people is another challenge that we face as a witch, whether it's a coworker who constantly complains, a client who constantly complains, or a friend who drains our energy. We need to recognize when someone is affecting our emotional well-being. In these situations, we can use protective spells and rituals to create a barrier, some type of barrier between ourselves and the negative influence. For example, we might create a mirror spell, right, to reflect back negative energy to its source. Or we might visualize a protective shield surrounding us, deflecting any harmful energy. Rituals and practices that maintain emotional balance are all, a key part of our self-protection. We need to make time for our self-care, whether it's through meditation, journaling, or spending time in nature. We need to cleanse regularly, right? Cleanse our energy using techniques such as smudging or taking salt baths, to wash away any emotional residue. These practices can, help us stay emotionally strong and resilient, ready to face whatever challenges come our way. Now, if you are not sure where you are right now and you need that, quick check-in with yourself, like, do I feel safe? Do I feel negative energy? What is it that needs to be addressed right now? Try to slow down, reassess, and ground yourself. See if one of these exercises works for you. I've pulled 3 to try to help us do that, like check-in. So the first one, I'm not going to say for sure, but I feel like this first one is used by first responders if they come up on somebody who is struggling. And it's that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique. So this exercise is going to focus on using your senses to reconnect with your surroundings. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5. Look around and name 5 things that you can see. 4. Identify 4 things that you can touch and feel their texture. 3. Listen for 3 things that you can hear, whether they are right next to you or far away. 2. Notice 2 things that you can smell. If you can't smell anything, recall 2 of your most favorite scents. And then 1. Identify 1 thing that you can taste. It could be the taste in your mouth right now, like you just brushed your teeth, or you just had a sip of coffee, or you just ate lunch, whatever it is. Or maybe a memory of a favorite flavor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 things, name 5 things that you can see. Identify 4 things that you can touch. Listen for 3 things that you can hear. Notice 2 things that you can smell. And then identify 1 thing that you can taste. after you do all that, check in with yourself. Do I feel safe? Do I feel negative energy? What is it that needs to be addressed? Okay, another one that you can do is like a deep breathing with visualization exercise. So for this one, if you can be seated, like if you're in an office setting, that's great, but you could do this one standing. But you're going to take a deep breath in through your nose for a count of 4. Hold it for a count of 4, and then exhale through your mouth for a count of 4. So breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. You held it for 4. Now you're going to exhale with a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That probably sounded horrible, sorry. But as you breathe, visualize those roots that I always talk about growing from the soles of your feet, extending deep into the earth. Imagine these roots are anchoring you firmly to the ground. And then from that, you're going to draw up the earth's stabilizing energy every time you inhale through your nose through that count of 4. And then repeat, right? Inhale through your nose, count of 4. Hold it for a count of 4. And then exhale through your mouth for a count of 4. Continue this and visualize for several minutes if you can. Each time you're going to feel more grounded with the earth. And then check in. Check in with yourself. Do you feel safe? Do you feel negative energy? What is it that needs to be addressed? Okay, and the last one you can do is like a body scan. This can be really helpful as far as slowing down and tuning into the physical body to see what's going on. You're probably going to at least want to be sitting down, if not lying down comfortably somewhere. But for this one, you want to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and then bring your attention to your physical body. Start at the top of your head and slowly move down your focus, as you go down. You want to notice any sensation, any tension, any discomfort as you're going down. So as you mentally scan each part of your body from your head, shoulders, arms, chest, abdomen, hips, legs, and all the way down to your feet, acknowledge and release any tension that you feel. So finish up, you're down at your feet, and then, the connection that they have with the ground. Again, imagining any remaining stress or energy flowing out into the earth. Once you've done that exercise, check in. Do I feel safe? Is there something going on? Is there something negative that I need to protect myself against? All right, one of those might help. I hope they do. So these exercises can be done anywhere. They can help bring a sense of calm and stability whenever you feel disconnected or overwhelmed. Going back to our guarding our inner world, these exercises can give us a quick glimpse into our state of mind and what needs protecting. All right, if you do find that you feel some unwanted energy, energy has attached or is lingering around you, or it's just in the space that you are, I would suggest doing a protective exercise of some sort. Who knows what the energy is? A coworker just walked in, a client just walked in, and they are just bringing so much negative energy with them, or you have a friend that drains you every time you're with them, or whatever it is. There's something around you that is negative that you need protection from. First, I would say, good for you. You recognize it. Second, let's protect ourselves. If someone is affecting our emotional well-being, we need to immediately take action. And you know what? When you're at home and planning a big ritual or a spell, we've got lots of things at our disposal, right? But what if you're at work? What if you're out and about and your body tingles with a sign of unwanted energy that just came into your space? What about then? So I pulled a couple options that I think we can do to protect ourselves, like instantly, on the spot, on the go. The first one is going to be a protective circle of light. And you just need you and your intention on this one. You want to stand or sit, do something where you can close your eyes just for a couple moments, take a few deep breaths, and visualize a bright white or golden or some type of light surrounding your body, forming a protective bubble or circle around you. As you focus on the light, just in your head, like quietly to yourself, say something like that you're protected and you are surrounded by the light, that negative energies cannot penetrate this shield. Hold this visualization for a few moments. You feel the protective energy around you. And then when you're ready, open your eyes and just know that this bubble is going to just follow you and be around you, protecting you while you are out. So the second one is, if you can, do like a little something with salt. There, certainly at work, there's probably a break room, there's a little kitchen, there's something, or even in your desk drawer, right? You went out to lunch and they gave you a salt and pepper to go, or, there's something. But usually, even if we're out and about, we can find a little bit of salt somewhere. You just need a pinch of it. You just want to sprinkle the salt around like the perimeter of the space, or, just in front of you while saying something in your head, salt of the earth, protect this space, keep all harm and negativity at bay, something, whatever you need to say it so that you are putting the energy in motion. Now, if you're outside or in a public space where sprinkling might not be feasible, you can kind of discreetly hold the salt in your hand and then visualize it forming a protective barrier around you before releasing it to the ground. And if you are releasing it to the ground, just do tiny little itty bitty bit. Salt is not good for our animals and nature, and so we just want to use a tiny little dabble of it. All right, the other thing we can do is like a quick protective charm. And you can grab anything that is on you for this one. It could be a key, it could be a coin, it could be a piece of jewelry. Something that you can physically hold in your dominant hand, and then close your eyes, visualizing that object actually glowing with a protective energy, and then absorbing all of your intention to shield you from harm. So while focusing on the energy, say something. You could say, cute little rhyming one is, with this charm, I am safe and sound. Negativity and harm can't be found. But you don't have to do a rhyming thing. Say something, but grab some object. Again, key, coin, piece of jewelry, something. Hold it in your dominant hand and close your eyes. Visualize the object glowing with protective energy, absorbing your intention to shield you from harm. And then keep it with you as your protection throughout the day. So I know those are simple, but they can be performed quickly and really in any setting. Because you don't know when you are going to feel that, your skin crawl and all your hair stand up because something negative just got right next to you. It does offer immediate protection when we are out and about. And again, our protection spells and circles, those are great. Those are the bigger acts that can be planned for at home when we can pull. We can pull in a bunch of our resources and use them. But, for the quick, on-the-spot stuff, try one of those 3 to quickly protect yourself. Now, I am personally working with the runes a lot, the Norse runes. So for me, there is one specific rune that really ties in protection. It kind of looks like an upside-down Y with a line in the middle. I think of antlers with this image as it ties directly into the image of an elk's antlers. So this rune is part of the second set of 8 Heimdall's and Hagel's 8. It is called the Elhaz, which is all about definitely representing the elk. It's about protection, defense, instinct, guardian, opportunity. But it definitely is a connection to the divine. It represents the elk or the elk's edge, which is seen as a strong protective force in nature. So Elhaz is also believed to provide a protective shield, both spiritually and physically. It serves, as a guardian against harmful influences, and you're gonna see it a lot in amulets, talisman, or magical workings for protection. So the rune resembles like a figure that's stretched out with arms up in the air, or antlers, symbolizing reaching out to the divine or nature for guidance and safety. So when using the Elhaz rune for protection, it can be drawn, it can be carved, or visualized during rituals, meditations, or while crafting any of our protective charms. Now, I love drawing the image on my body with a roller ball of my essential oil. Going back to the protective herbs, I have a really good potion that I created for protection that has a bunch of cinnamon and other good things in it, like cat's claw. But I use this specific potion for drawing out a rune like Elhaz on my body when I need that extra layer of help. But the ruler ball portion of this is really not necessary. It's one of those quick, oh my goodness, what is this negative energy I am getting while I'm out and about? You can just draw it on yourself. You don't need a roller ball. Just freehand it and imagine the image now protecting you. Now, I know back on the two-part episode I did with Justin, our pagan padre, on runes, he mentioned using the Norse rune associated with travel, which is radio. Now, radio was part of the first group, Freyr and Freya's 8. But Rado it's all about like the cart, represents the cart or, the ride. It's about travel, movement, journey, changes, the wheel maybe, rhythm, evolution for sure, but cyclical actions, right? This representation of travel though, journey and movement, both in the physical sense and in life's broader journey, can help us with a, protection sigil, if you will, with that letter R, which represents it. So radio symbolizes safe and successful travel, maybe guiding one through the physical and metaphorical paths of life. But it's often going to be invoked for protection during journeys, ensuring that one stays on the right course and encounters favorable conditions. So again, this rune literally looks like the letter R. And it's associated with the wheel or the motion of a cart, symbolizing our movement and progress. So I do like this rune. Using the radio rune for travel, it can be inscribed on personal things like our luggage, or on our vehicles. Something visualized during our travel preparations, or actually just drawn onto it. Again, freehand. You can draw on the dust. You can just draw on your car, your whatever it is, but incorporate that image also into your spells and rituals, just to help ensure a smooth and protected journey. Okay, what about our spiritual protection? What about shielding our soul? Perhaps the most profound aspect of protection in our life as a witch is the spiritual protection. This is the layer of protection that goes beyond the physical and emotional realms, reaching into the very essence of who we are as a spiritual being. So one of the most effective techniques we can use for, spiritual protection is going to be shielding. We begin by visualizing a protective barrier of light surrounding us, forming that bubble that I mentioned, that keeps out any negative or harmful energy. This shield is both flexible and strong. It allows positive energy to flow in while keeping negative energy out. We can reinforce this shield regularly, especially before performing any magical work or entering into a potentially draining situation. Now, calling upon spiritual guides or deities is another important part of our spiritual protection, whether it is a goddess we have a deep connection with or a spirit guide who has accompanied us on our journey. We know that we are never truly alone. These spiritual allies provide us with guidance, strength, and protection, helping us navigate the challenges that we face. We face as witches. We honor them through our rituals, right? We honor them through offerings and daily devotions, trusting their wisdom and their support. But if we are really feeling like their help is needed, especially in the form of protection, I would ask, flat out, straight up, ask for help. All right, I grabbed some of the big ones. Again, if I don't mention your deity that you specifically work with here, I totally understand, but popular ones, first and foremost, is probably going to be Hecate. She is a Greek deity. Hecate is the goddess of magic, witchcraft, and crossroads. Hecate is often invoked for protection against negative forces, especially in matters of the spiritual realm. She is a guardian of the home and offers protection during transitions. Brigid is a Celtic deity. Brigid is the goddess of fire, healing, and protection. She is a powerful protector of the home and hearth. She is often invoked for physical and spiritual protection, particularly in times of conflict or danger. Thor, he is a Norse deity. Thor is the god of thunder, strength, and protection. He is a warrior god known for defending both the gods and humans from evil forces, particularly giants. His hammer is a symbol of protection and is often worn as a talisman. The Archangel Michael is a Christian deity. He is the Archangel of protection, strength, and courage. Archangel Michael is a powerful protector against evil and negative energies. He is often invoked for protection during spiritual warfare and for safeguarding one's home and loved ones. Sekhmet is an Egyptian deity. She is a goddess of war, healing, and protection. I think I talked about her pretty extensively, maybe not extensively, but I talked about her when talking about working with cats and cat magic. But Sekhmet is a fierce protector, often called upon for protection in battles, both physical and spiritual. She also protects against illness and other dangers. Durga is a Hindu deity. She is a warrior goddess, protector of the righteous. Durga is known for her strength and fierce protection of her devotees. She combats evil forces and is often invoked for protection against, all forms of danger and adversity. Athena is a Greek deity. She is a goddess of wisdom, war, and protection. Athena is a strategic protector, really offering protection in battle, but also intellectual and spiritual endeavors. She is often invoked for guidance and protection in those difficult situations. Saint Benedict is a Christian deity. He is a patron saint of protection against evil. So Saint Benedict is often invoked for protection against evil spirits and witchcraft. His medal is widely used as a protective talisman. Kuan Yin is a Chinese Buddhism deity. Her role is basically like the goddess of mercy, compassion, and protection, really. So Kuan Yin is a protector of the vulnerable and is often called upon to shield against danger and misfortune. Her compassionate nature offers spiritual protection and guidance. Anubis is an Egyptian deity. He is a god of the afterlife and a protector of the dead. So Anubis protects souls on their journey to the afterlife and ensures they are safe from evil forces. He is also invoked for protection during times of transition. So there you go. There's a good handful of them, but whomever you work with in your own personal practice, as far as deities go, call on them, work with them. These deities can be called upon for various forms of protection, whether physical, spiritual, or emotional. It really just depends on your needs and your personal beliefs. Now, if deity work is not your thing, but connecting with spirits is, okay, right? We have options here too. We can ask for help from spirits to protect us through a respectful and intentional ritual or prayer, just like we would in working with a deity. It's the same steps, or they are for me at least, deity or spirit work. They're going to be the same. So either way, regardless of who you're calling out to, you want to set some clear intentions before reaching out, right? It's important. You have to understand what your intentions are before you can ask somebody else to help you with them. So be specific about the kind of protection you need. Whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, combination of all of them, be specific. Then I would probably find a quiet place where you can focus without distractions, right? You can create a sacred space by cleansing the area with something first, whatever that form or fashion is for you, but use some type of cleansing herb. You can light candles, you can burn incense, and arrange, any of your protective crystals or objects that resonate you. And then call upon them, right? Begin by calling upon specific protective deities or spirits, whatever you're going to do, your ancestors maybe, right? But call upon the one you want to work with so that you feel a connection. Don't forget, this could also include guardian spirits, animal guides, whatever you resonate with. You can say something like, I call upon my protective spirits, my ancestors, and my guides. I ask you for protection and guidance. Surround me with your strength and shield me from harm. Now, if you're calling on a specific deity, use their name, right? Express your gratitude for their presence. So speaking of gratitude, I think spirits and deities, they like and appreciate signs. Signs of respect and gratitude. Common offerings include food and drink, incense maybe, or symbolic items. But place offerings in your sacred space and say something. Let them know this is for you. This is to say thank you and show that I'm grateful for your help. Ensure that the offering aligns with the nature of the spirit that you're calling upon, right? For example, spirits associated with the earth may appreciate flowers and herbs, while ancestors might prefer something from your own cultural traditions. But then, then visualize and strengthen the connection. As you call upon the spirits, visualize a protective circle or barrier forming around you, infused with the energy of the spirits that you have just invoked. Feel their presence and protection surrounding you. You can chant a simple mantra. You can say an affirmation. You do you here, right? But continue the visualization until you feel a strong connection and a sense of security. And then express gratitude. Say thank you and close the ritual. Once you feel the presence of the spirits and their protection, absolutely say thank you and thank them for their guidance and their protection. And honestly, ask them to remain with you, to watch over you as needed. And then close things up. It's always nice to, say something, extinguish the candles if you have them, clear away your offerings respectfully, such as, burying them or leaving them in a natural place. But, be sure that you leave the sacred space knowing that you are protected. And then you might need something ongoing once you've done this exercise. Check in with your spirits, refresh your offerings, express gratitude, something that maintains that strong connection and ensures their continued protection. So, I think by approaching spirits with respect, clarity, sincerity, we can effectively ask for their protection and feel confident in the guidance and strength that they provide. Okay, so if you are home, right, and you want a more detailed spell for protection, you probably already have your favorite steps to take, but if you don't, I've got a couple that I have pulled just as a suggestion. The first one's going to be a warding mirror spell. The purpose of this one's going to definitely be to reflect negative energy or psychic attacks back to their source, protecting us from harm. You are going to need a small mirror for this one. You will need a black candle, and you are going to need some salt. You want to start by casting a circle, right? Protect yourself. Protect. Cast a circle, cleanse your space with your incense or whatever you use, and place the mirror in front of you with the reflective side facing up and outwards. So before you cast that circle, and cleanse your space, make sure you've got all of your supplies. But you will need a mirror, you will need a black candle, and you will need salt, but you will need something to light the candle with too. So light the candle and place it behind the mirror. Sprinkle salt around the mirror, forming a protective circle. Focus your intention on the mirror, envisioning it as a shield that reflects all the negative energy back to its origin. You can say something, right? Mirror bright, reflect the harm, turn back all ill, keep me from alarm. As it will, so mote it be, whatever you got to do, right? So come up with your own thing that you want to say. But say something, again, it doesn't have to be out loud, it can be in your head. You want to allow the candle to burn out. You can snuff it if necessary. I'm not a big fan of that one, but just use a small candle, right? Use a tiny candle if you don't have a lot of time. But keep the mirror in a place where it can continue to reflect negative energy away from you. All right, second one would be a salt and herb protection jar. This one is a nice little powerful bundle of protection. The purpose here is going to be create a powerful protective barrier around our home or our sacred space. So what you're going to need for this one is a small jar. You will need sea salt, some type of protective herb, whatever your favorite one is to work with, rosemary, sage, bay leaves, whatever it is. You will need another black candle, and then some type of protective stone. Do you want to grab obsidian because you want it to absorb stuff? Do you want black tourmaline? Am I saying it right? Tourmaline? How do we pronounce this one? But you'll need it. Okay, to perform it, you basically, again, want to cleanse your space, right? Cast a circle if desired. We are going to fill the jar with sea salt, protective herbs, and stones, layering them while focusing on your personal intention for protection. We are going to seal the jar with a black candle, allowing the wax to drip over the lid while saying something. Come up with whatever you're saying is going to be. Herbs and salt, stone and fire. Create a shield, block all ire. Protection strong, here you stay. Guard me well both night and day. Again, you do you, come up with what you want to say, but say something as you are sealing the jar with the black candle. So keep the jar in a safe space, such as maybe by your front door, under your bed, but this is going to be your salt and herb protection jar that is going to act as a protective barrier against harm. Now, if you are really feeling attacked, I would do a full circle of protection and reset. If you feel unsafe, this is just going to be like ground zero. We are starting over. There are going to be a bunch of ways to personalize this, but overall, it's going to be some sort of casting a circle and then working within it. So this is a pretty fundamental practice in witchcraft as a whole. I think that serves, as a sacred protective space for any of our rituals and spell work to be done in. So to do this, and again, this is one way, you do you, but this is an example of something you can do. You're going to want to prepare the space, basically like cleanse the area. Before casting any circle, you want to remove any negative or unwanted energies. You can use incense for this, sage, or any other cleansing method that resonates with you. Walk around the area. We're talking like a physical area. We're not going to imagine this. This is a physical area in your house or space, wherever you feel safe doing your witchcraft. But walk around the area where the circle is going to be cast. You want to wave the smoke and visualize the space being purified. Next, you're going to set up your tools. This is many times I've forgotten my tools. So if you plan to use tools like candles, crystals, ritual tools, whatever it is, your athame, wand, grab them all. Get everything ready ahead of time so you have everything with you in the space before the circle is cast. Then you want to ground and center yourself. Take a few deep breaths to center yourself. Go back to that breathing exercise again, right? On the count of 4, breathe in through your nose, hold for 4, release on the count of 4. Or do the physical check, head all the way down to your toes. Whatever you need to do to ground yourself and slow down, connect yourself to the earth and, ensure that you are balanced and focused before starting your ritual, I would do it. Visualize those roots again. I love the roots extending from your feet into the earth, something that anchors you. And then determine the circle's boundaries. We're going to figure out how big our circle is going to be. So stand somewhere in the center of your ritual space and then visualize the boundary of your circle. It can be imagined like as a sphere of protective light or energy extending above, below, and around you. 9 feet works if that's your number, whatever your number is, whatever you're going to do. You want something that is going to be a good amount of space around you, but adjust it, right? Maybe you don't have a bunch of space where you're physically working, but mark it. We want to mark our circle. And when I say mark it, I physically mark my circle. So this is going to be with chalk, with salt, with crystals. I love my black rocks. Not crystals or stones. These are actually like black river rocks. But whatever you can do to mark the perimeter, focusing your intention of creating a protective barrier. And then I like to call the elements. So I think many witches invoke the 4 elements of earth, air, fire, and water at the actual cardinal directions, north, east, south, and west, to strengthen our circles. But as you move to each direction, call upon the element and ask for its protective presence. So, for example, like east, air, right? I call upon the element of air to guard and protect this circle with wisdom and clarity. Then go to south, fire. I call upon the element of fire to guard and protect this circle with passion and strength. Then you go west, water. I call upon the element of water to guard and protect this circle with intuition and healing. And then you go up to north, earth. I call upon the element of earth to guard and protect this circle with stability and grounding. And then we're going to cast our circle. We are going to use a tool if we want to. We can use our hands for this. I think many witches are going to use a wand, an athame, ritual knife, or just your hand. Honestly, your hand works just great to trace the boundary of the circle. Again, starting with the east or sometimes north, depending on what your tradition is, but slowly walk counterclockwise around the perimeter of the circle, visualizing the barrier of light or energy forming as you go. Say something, speak an invocation. As you walk the circle, you can chant, you can speak words, set your intentions, whatever you need to do here, but say something, speak something as you walk the circle, and then visualize. See the circle forming a glow. See that protective barrier around you in your space. Feel the energy solidifying, creating a strong boundary that only positive and intended energies can pass through. Then again, if you work with deities or spirits and you want to bring them in and invoke them, now would be the time. Ancestors too. I don't mean to not say ancestors, but whatever. Deities, spirits, ancestors, animal spirits, whatever it is that you want to bring in and invoke, now is the time to invite them into your circle. Ask for their protection and guidance during your ritual and spell work. And then it's time. Now you're ready to go. Now you're ready to perform your ritual and do your spell work. With the circle cast, you are now within that sacred and protected space. So perform your ritual, do your spell, do your meditation, whatever it is that you intend to do in your safe space. And then when you're done, you definitely want to take a moment to close the circle. Once your work is complete, thank them. Thank the elements, the deities, the spirits, the animals, whomever you called upon for their protection and assistance. And then release the circle. To close it, I would walk counterclockwise around the perimeter, visualizing the protective barrier getting, softer and kind of gently dissolving or retracting into the earth. You can use your wand, athame, or hand to, trace the boundary in reverse, pretty much. You can say something at this point if you want to, but once you have started where you left off, you have closed the circle. And then I would reflect, take a moment, just reflect on the work that you just did, express your gratitude for the protection and the guidance you received, and if necessary, cleanse your tools again, right? And the space to remove any lingering energy. So that's a big one. That's like the full, okay, code red, we need to do a full circle. Do I do a full circle every time I do a spell or a potion or a tincture? No, I don't. But there is a time and a place for it. It's a big ritual to go through. This does take time, but honestly, by following these steps, I think a witch can effectively create a circle of protection that really safeguards us in our energy and our intentions during spiritual work. The circle serves as a barrier, right? And it really does only allow positive, focused energy within it, keeping out all those distractions, negativity, and unwanted influences. Oh boy, what does it even mean? What does it mean to be a protected witch? I know it's a lot to kind of go over, and this is a really important subject. Being a protected witch goes beyond casting spells and performing rituals. It's a state of spiritual, emotional, and sometimes physical security that comes from a deep connection with the energies and the deities and the spirits and that we work with. Protection for a witch is going to be a multi-layered concept that encompasses self-awareness, that encompasses intentionality and the cultivation of relationships with the spiritual world. I think it's about creating a safe space where one can practice their craft freely without fear of negative influences or harm. At the core of being a protected witch is the understanding that protection is not just a passive state, but an active practice. A witch must be proactive in setting boundaries, both in the physical and in the spiritual realms. This may involve creating protective wards around their home, carrying protective charms, or invoking the protection of deities and spirits before engaging in magical work. By doing so, a witch takes responsibility, right? We take responsibility for our own safety and ensure that we are not vulnerable to unwanted energies or entities. Now, the spiritual aspect of protection is particularly significant for us, I think. We operate in realms that are not visible to the naked eye. Protection in this context makes safeguarding oneself from harmful spirits important, for protecting us from negative energies and psychic attacks. We often call upon protective deities, spirits, our ancestors, animals, to form shields around us. And this spiritual protection it's not just about defense. It's about creating a positive, supportive environment that allows us to thrive and grow in our practice. So being a protected witch also means being mindful of one's energy and surroundings, right? We are sensitive to the energy around us. And a part of our protection involves grounding and centering ourselves regularly. Grounding exercises help witches stay connected to the earth, providing stability and strength. They just do. By being grounded, we can more effectively shield ourselves from negative influences and maintain that balanced state of being. While much of witchcraft can be a solitary practice, having supportive community of like-minded individuals offers that additional layer of protection. So witches can share knowledge, offer advice, and support each other in times of need, creating a collective strength, if you will, that enhances individual protection. I think the solitary practice has really taken off since COVID, but there is power in numbers, and those numbers can provide that extra layer of protection in our practices. So being a protected witch, it means actively engaging in practices that ensure safety and well-being on multiple levels. It's about building a fortress, my fortress, your fortress, right, of spiritual, emotional, and physical protection through rituals, connections with deities and spirits, and our self-awareness. A protected witch walks confidently in their path, knowing that they are shielded by their own power and the forces they work with, allowing them to explore their craft freely without fear. Now, in our journey, I think we've come to understand that protection is not just about keeping harm at bay, right? It truly is about embracing our own power. Through physical, emotional, and spiritual connection, whatever it is, we have learned to stand strong in our truth, to trust in our abilities, and to know that we are capable of facing whatever challenge comes our way. Now, as we grow, as we continue to evolve in our own personal practices, it is important to remain committed to protecting ourselves in all aspects of our life, right? We know this journey is ongoing, and there will always be new lessons to learn. No matter what stage of life we are in, no matter what stage our practice is in, right? We can learn new ways to strengthen our defenses. And with each step that we grow, we become stronger. We become more resilient, more confident, and more empowered. So in the end, protecting myself as a witch, it's not just about survival, it's about thriving. It's about honoring my own worth, trusting in my inner wisdom, and, walking my path with courage and grace. Maintaining a strong connection to nature is essential for my spiritual protection. As a witch, I draw much of my power from the natural world, and it is in nature that I tend to find my greatest source of strength. Whether I'm walking in the woods, sitting by the ocean, or simply tending to my little garden, I feel the protective presence of the earth beneath my feet and the sky above me. And this connection to the natural world reminds me that I am part of something much larger than myself, and that I'm always protected by the forces of nature. Well, I sure do hope this episode is helpful to you, and you becoming a protected witch too. For some reason, these were all the signs. This is exactly what I needed to do this week. So I did it. I stopped, I listened, and I focused. Now, again, if you are enjoying the content I share on this podcast and want to help me continue bringing valuable insight like today's episode, I invite you to show your support, whether it's by subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing this episode or my podcast in general with your friends. But every bit does help me grow and reach more listeners just like you. So please take a moment to engage. Your voice matters to me. Now, I do have a poem for today's topic of being a protected witch. I will grab that and the moon's phase, and I'll be right back. All right, being a protected witch, here is a poem just for today's topic. And it goes. In the shadows where fears reside, a light of strength begins to glide. A shield of power, bold and bright, guards my soul through day and night. Winds may howl and storms may rage, but within this circle they cannot engage. A whisper soft, a spell is cast, a fortress strong is built to last. From earth below to skies above, wrapped in warmth and bound by love, no harm shall touch, no ill shall stay. I am protected to what comes my way. In this space where peace is found, all darkness fades, no foes surround. With heart and spirit firm and true, protection stays, old as new. I walk with courage and fear no plight, for I feel the safest in magic's light. This charm shall hold through time's embrace and guard my soul in my witchy space. All right, the moon this week. Well, if you are listening to this as it airs, she is waning. And as I promised last week, that even though she started to wane, you probably didn't feel it last week, right? It was not feeling very waning-ish. That was a strong full moon, and it lingered for quite a bit. So until this week, though. So hopefully you are enjoying the slowing down phase of the moon waning, as she's doing right now. What can we do during a waning moon? Well, this energy is ideal for letting go, reflection, and preparation for, our new beginnings. And you know what? As I mentioned earlier, we have a bunch of stuff coming up for fall. So think about transition here on even maybe like a larger level, like a quarterly type one. We are saying goodbye to summer and hello to fall next month. And if it is not this waning stage, the one in September would kind of work. So we will have a new moon on September 2nd, followed by the first quarter phase on September 10th, that waxing phase. The full moon occurs on the 17th, and then she's going to start waning again, in that last quarter phase on the 24th. But fall, our Mabon, our autumn equinox, happens on the 21st. So I don't know. Maybe now is the time to kind of wrap up and release the summer vibes so we can welcome in Mabon next month. But whatever you end up doing, waning moon is, this phase is good for rituals, exercises, spells, and potions that are about letting go, reflection, and kind of preparing for that dark moon that's going to come before we start the whole process over again with our new moon. So what can we do? Release and banish rituals, for sure. The waning moon is a perfect time to let go of things that no longer serve us, whether it's bad habits, negative emotions, toxic relationships, but focus on releasing them during this phase. You can perform banishing rituals by writing down what you want to release on a piece of paper and then safely burn it. We can use our bay leaves for this, but something visualizing those things leaving your life. This is a good time for cleansing and purification. We can use the waning moon to kind of cleanse and purify our space, mind, and body. This is a good time for spiritual baths, smudging your home, or using other cleansing herbs, or using cleansing herbs, not other, by smudging your home or, in using cleansing herbs, kind of clear out the clutter. We're saying goodbye. The energy of the waning moon supports removing negative energies and then kind of getting ready for that fresh start. So it's a good time for reflection and introspection as well. I really like this at the end of the waning stage as we kind of enter the dark moon. But, as the moon's light decreases, we can look inward and, reflect on what happened over this past lunar cycle, kind of assess our progress, what we, kind of identify what needs to be changed moving forward. All that can be done through journaling, meditation, or, that quiet contemplation time that helps us gain clarity and prepare for the new cycle that's going to start with the new moon. But these practices are good to, all to align with that waning moon energy. Again, we want to release, cleanse, reflect, and prepare. So thank you guys. I just want to say thank you for being here today. I know you've got to be a loyal listener if you stay all the way to the end. And I really do want to say thank you. Thank you so much for your incredible support. Thank you for your engagement, whether it's through listening, sharing, providing feedback. It all truly does fuel my passion and helps this podcast thrive. So it's listeners like you who make this journey worthwhile, and I really am deeply, deeply grateful for your trust and your dedication. Every download, every comment, the shares, they make a difference, and I am honored to have you as a part of the Witchy Work Wishes community. Thank you for being with me today. I look forward to continuing this journey together. I really do hope you have a great rest of your week and a wonderful weekend, and I will talk with you next week. Thank you for joining me today at Witchy Work Wishes, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. For more information and additional content, please visit me online at witchyworkwishes.com. If you want to send me a personal note, please email me at info@witchyworkwishes.com. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Witchy Work Wishes.